All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem,
Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. It's the brothers here from Great Millstone, Atlanta. What is today's date? January, the 10th, 2020. And a lot of things have been popping off. You know, I've been saying that on previous lessons, which all of us brothers have been constantly echoing the same sentiment about 2020 has been a very pivotal year. And it's only 10 days in, man. Mm-hmm. You know, it's, of course, the billion plus deaths of mammals and animal species in Australia. You have all kind of events as far as Iran shooting down the Ukrainian planes, and just the war of Armageddon soon to take place, revving up. You know, Trump and his impeachment is still pending, and it's still in the works. You know, it's still charges that's being imposed on the POTUS, the President of the United States. It's still all kind of clashes, riots all over the world. You know, and miraculous events, spontaneous, which people know as in today's time as phenomenons taking place, UFO sightings, and things of that nature are blowing up, and governments imposing totalitarian governments, total rule, draconian laws, which of course, you know, brothers look up, you know, which if brothers are already familiar with, but if brothers are unfamiliar with, look up draconian laws, draconian legislation, which is just laws that are you know, against human freedom. Matter of fact, before I even jump into it, I'm gonna read the definition of that, because this is what the basis of the lesson is centered around, is more draconian laws that the so-called white man is putting in the society to further constrict the common citizen, make it where you're unable to exercise freedom of speech.
Yep.
You got it.
Just to say, because basically America is becoming like a dictatorship.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that's why you know, I believe it was 2 days ago they made it to where Trump, you know, he just can't push out, you know, certain laws. You know, he actually has to go to the Congress for confirmation. You know, so, as far as dealing with Iran. You know, because Trump is basically becoming a dictator, man. You know, which that last action that he did, he didn't even take counsel from Congress. He just made the action to kill the Iranian, I think, if I'm not mistaken, general, second in command, one of the most notorious or powerful men in Iran. You know, but I have the definition of draconian. Draconian goes back to the English, or goes back to the word Draco, which is of laws of the application excessively harsh and severe. Example given: the Nazis destroyed the independence of press by a series of draconian laws, and the society we're living in, they're pushing way more draconian laws upon us, man. You know, your freedom of speech, your freedom to actually represent yourself, paying more taxes. You're
paying more taxes. They're enforcing and imposing more taxes, more laws, more things upon you, so that you can be harsher or more harshly locked up, because this is a captivity. And in this captivity, you know, the so-called white man is tightening the grips of the shackles. Just like if you have shackles on your wrist, you know, some shackles when you see the shackles, of course, they're built to compress tighter and tighter. Some shackles you might have, you're like, damn, you know, these shackles is on me, I can't get out of them, but you know, they kind of loose. I could wiggle the wrist, I could do a little something, but I can't get out. But you have some shackles where they're so goddamn tight that if you actually break the bonds of the shackles, you could actually see the imprint impressed upon your skin. And the so-called white man is getting to that point where he's you know, tightening the grips of these shackles upon you tribes, you Latins, which we ain't even have to go into, you Mexicans and the Latin tribes, you Native Americans. We don't even have to go into all the things that's going on with you, and you Negroes. It goes without being said at this point. You know, going into the tit for tat and all these things. You know, you see the government that you're living under. You are fully aware of what the so-called white man is putting upon our people. Or you should be fully aware. If not, you just have your head in the dirt. But I did, through the spirit, which of course we wanted to go into this article on the Blacklisted News about America and its biometric system, and it says the title is America is the fourth worst abuser of biometric privacy rights in the world. You see, and matter of fact, can you read Revelation 12 and 12 before read into it? Because we're in a time where this devil, which matter of fact. I'm gonna get this other scripture. Before you read Revelations 12 and 12, read Revelations 13 and 11. We're in the time where the so-called white man, is showing his horns, man. You had times where the political leaders were just loved by all of American citizens.
Yeah.
You had Clinton and his administration and things of that nature. Kennedy, you had all kind of administrations where they would damn near say that these presidents are damn near black. They would accept them. Which Jake can say on the memes, I'll accept him in a barbecue.
Yeah, he invited to the hood barbecue. So to speak.
He invited to the hood barbecue, but it's in a time where it's race on race tension. If a Negro or you had George Lopez speaking about Trump.
Oh yeah,
killing him.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of guys that spoke about T.I. Of course, brothers familiar with the rapper T.I. speaking about actually killing the president of the United States, which he didn't say that, of course, T.I. But they're speaking of just on behalf of the Iranian government, and they're speaking against the government that they're living in. So we're in a time of racial tension. Scriptures speak about how they shall not regard the powers in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, which Lord willing will possibly get that. So prophecies like the elder apostle Ricard. The prophecies is popping like popcorn, man.
That's right, bro.
You got it, brother.
This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. It says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon."
And what does that mean? If you have horns, it says he has 2 horns like a lamb, which the horns represents power.
Power, yeah.
But the lamb represents innocency. It represents mercy. It represents because when you see a lamb, all you want to do is rub. Me and his brother.
Yeah.
We went to which was a couple of brothers. You was there,
Yeah.
wasn't you, when we went to the
Stone Mountain.
Stone Mountain. We was amongst the lambs and the goats, the livestock. And you see the lamb, you see the fur. First thing you want to do when you react to a lamb is you want to rub it. Because they're harmless, they're very pure.
Yeah.
They're very meek. They just lay low. You'll rub up on a lamb and they just act like you're not even there.
Yeah.
It might be grazing or whatnot, But the so-called white man, in comparison, the so-called white man tries to put himself in that position like he's a lamb.
Yeah.
But it says he speaks like a dragon.
Just to add to the brother's point, that shows you how Esau tries to deceive his the people, through the the laws, because they all at the end of the day they try to make it seem like it's for the better of the citizens. In all actuality, it's the total opposite, man. It's the exact total opposite of what they what the mass majority think that of what Esau's agenda is, man.
Yeah, such as this article which we're going into with the biometrics. And when people think about biometrics, people think about monitorization, surveillance. They always think about protection. All these different cameras is going to be hard for criminals to get away. It's going to be for the safety of each and every one of us. We don't no longer, the crime rate is going to be reduced. It's coming to a time where whether you're a, if you're an advanced criminal, that level of advancement is going to be done away with.
You no longer need IDs or to carry your wallet. Everything is accessible in the body. They try to make it convenient for you to make it seem like it's good for you. When the scriptures tell you, man, not to take the chip.
Yeah, but a lot of jakes are being what, of course, the term is coined desensitized, because they're starting to feel like this is a rest. This is the area where I can chill, man. I ain't got to do the hard work. I don't have to be a vigilante, so to speak. Which back in the day they actually had vigilantes in America. Certain jakes that would try to enforce laws and things. I ain't got to be a vigilante. I just set up cameras. Somebody come in my house or anything of that nature, You know, you don't have to be a neighborhood watchman, which back then, being a neighborhood watchman was a diligent job. Scriptures speak about watchmen. They had watchmen in the scriptures. You would have to be on the clock.
Yeah.
You know, you might spend 8+ hours just looking out the blinds, making sure that there's no type of unfamiliar cars, no type of weird noises or production going on in the city or in your neighborhood. But now you just throw up a camera. And that camera that's watching on the outside is also watching in the inside. That camera is still used to be enforced and imposed against you. And that's why the scripture says that how he spake as a dragon. The speech comes from the tongue. The tongue utters when the tongue is uttered, policy is written within the government. All right. You know, before things are enacted, you have the 3 branches of the government. You have the executive, the legislation, and you also the judicial. You know, you have to take these different, which they're known as the checks and balances. And somebody might summon a law, and before it goes into place, they have to take it through the branches before it's actually legislation through the legislative branch. You know, and it gets executed. You know, through the executive. You know, and it has to go through these different branches, and they have to measure it out.